Hello there, very good evening and welcome to your Primetime Weekend News Bulletin. I'm Shayan Silva wishing you, all our viewers, a very happy Sinhala and Tamil New Year from all of us here at the News First team. Now, Venezuelans have begun voting in a decisive presidential election that will determine if late President Hugo Chávez's legacy will continue. We have more details coming up on the international desk, but first, a look at the headlines. The dawn of the Sinhala Tamil New Year celebrated across the island. President Mahinda Rajapaksa says the true happiness of the New Year is safeguarded by a verdant, free and independent country.
Over
1,000 stranded Sri Lankans in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, unable to return home. North Korea says the South's offer of dialogue is a crafty trick and rejects the proposal. On to your stories in detail now. The Sinhala and Tamil New Year was ushered in with much pomp and ceremony early this morning.
Religious rituals were observed at the auspicious time of 7:05 p.m. yesterday. The Sinhala and Tamil New Year dawned at 1:29 a.m. today. Rituals of lighting the stove and cooking the food commenced at the auspicious time of 4:06 a.m., while the partaking of food was observed at the auspicious time of 7:05 a.m. At 1:29 a.m., milk was brought to boil at the sacred temple of the Tooth Relic in Kandy. Devotees were able to pay homage to the sacred relic after the annual tradition of boiling the milk. Meanwhile, the 198th annual New Year Perahara of the Veragampitiya Rajama Vihara in Mathura commenced this morning. The procession travelled from the Vihara to the Mathura Bodhya. Former LTTE cadres in rehabilitation and personnel from the security forces ushered in the New Year together at the Puntotam camp in Vaunia. Gifts were exchanged at the auspicious time. Numerous Hindu devotees visited Kovils early this morning to receive blessings for the new year. The 27th year of the service calendar was ushered in today as a year of Vijaya. Hindu devotees believe the new year dawned at 11:58 p.m. last night, according to Hindu numerology. News First cameras also captured the observance of New Year traditions in the north. Special religious observances were held at the Kurumannadu Kali Amman Kovil on the Mannar Road in Vaunia. The auspicious time for another New Year tradition, which is the anointing of oil, is 6:41 a.m. tomorrow. The auspicious color is white, while the auspicious direction is east.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa and members of his family ushered in the Sinhala and Tamil New Year by observing the traditional rituals at Carlton House in Tangor.
First Lady Shirandi Rajapaksa lit the stove for the boiling of milk at the auspicious time early this morning. The President subsequently observed the age-old traditions of the New Year.
සියලුම දෙනාට සුබ අලුත් අවුරුද්දක් වේවා කියලා ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා. උංගල් එල්ලෝරුකුම් ඉනිය පුතාණ්ඩු வாழ்த்துக்கள்.
After wishing the public for the new year, the President also planted a sapling in the garden. Area residents also visited Carlton House to wish the President. Thereafter, trilingual electronic dictionaries were presented to students who passed the 2013 Year 5 scholarship examination.
Let's now take a quick look at the messages issued by the President, the Prime Minister and several other political party leaders in view of the Sinhala and Tamil New Year.
Issuing a communique, President Mahinda Rajapaksa says the true happiness of the new year is safeguarded by a verdant, free and independent country. In his New Year message, the president had further said, quote, "Sacrifices that we have made to build a prosperous and disciplined country offer us great consolation," unquote. President Rajapaksa added, quote, "Enthusiasm currently shown by the people to fulfill New Year customs and traditions as never before is a cause of pride and happiness to us all," unquote. He added, quote, "The family bonds built up due to New Year customs and traditions help strengthen Sri Lankan society," unquote. Prime Minister D.M. Jayaratne in his New Year message said, quote, "Sri Lankans should be determined to make a meaningful cultural festival out of the Sinhala Hindi New Year, not just focusing on mere celebrations," unquote. The message further read, quote, "All the nations should make their contribution irrespective of their races, religions, politics, caste or colour," unquote. Opposition leader Ranil Wickremesinghe in his New Year message said that it is a disappointing fact that the importance of maintaining peace, spreading happiness and expressing courtesy, which has been shown over the past several years, has been swept aside by society. He says that at present, hate is being spread instead of kindness and gratitude has been forgotten. Ranil Wickremesinghe goes on to say that the future of the country could only be brightened only through peace and unity and not by separatism. Democratic Party leader Sarath Fonseca says in his New Year message that he will ensure a prosperous future for the people of Sri Lanka. He says that the Sinhala and Tamil New Year, which bears the importance of nationality and tradition, has brought about the peak of prosperity. The communique further read that it is a right of the people of this country to gain the privileges produced by this. He points out that celebrating the New Year has been limited to just a dream due to the rapid rise in the cost of living. Leader of the JVP, Somawangsa Amarasinghe, says the unjust and indiscriminative regime should be toppled and that the masses should resolve to organize themselves and struggle to establish a socialist administration in the country. The communique further read, "It is evident that the country has been dragged towards economic, political, social and ethical bankruptcy." In his New Year message, the JVP leader goes on to say, masses have to be confronted with massive economic challenges and have to undergo physical and mental strain even during the New Year festive season.
While our brethren at home celebrate the dawn of the Sinhala and Tamil New Year, a group of Sri Lankan expatriates who are a valuable asset to the nation's economy are whiling away their time in an open-air space in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, hungry and far from home or health. This is their story.
About 1,200 Sri Lankans who have lost their jobs in Saudi Arabia are wasting away at this open-air encampment in Jeddah. They say that prior to this they were living under a bridge in the city but were moved to this field by the police 4 days ago. This group says they have not received adequate food or water since being moved here. It has been about 4 days now since they relocated us from under the bridge to this place. For 4 days they detained us at the police and they said that barriers would be put up against us. They loaded us onto buses and brought us back under the bridge. Afterwards they came back. There were several big wigs from the police as well. They made promises to us, got promises from us and brought us here to this field. From last night until dawn they herded us around, whipping us, and we did not even get water to drink. Neither could we go to the toilet. We have been wearing these same clothes for several days. For 6 months all of us here have been going to the embassy. We have registered at the embassy and have done everything else. They say that the Sri Lankan state has not taken any steps and I've asked them to take some measures. Yesterday they came here falsely with about 50 papers and said they were taking a group back to Sri Lanka and took about 38 with them. But at about 2 a.m. they have been thrown out. This group of Sri Lankan nationals are appealing to authorities that they be repatriated as soon as possible. Why is it that Sri Lankan expatriate workers in Saudi Arabia are being made to face such hardships?
This problem has arisen because once a person is sponsored into Saudi Arabia, that person must work for that sponsor. What has happened is these people have cut deals with various unscrupulous agencies and they have brought in 15, 20, 25 people on their sponsorships, and they are obviously working for various other places. Now there's a crackdown by the Saudi government. They want to deport these people who are not directly working for the original sponsor.
The MP added that far more consideration needs to be shown to these expatriate workers who bring valuable foreign currency to the country.
We have about 600,000 Sri Lankans working in Saudi Arabia. Now, if you look at the contribution of these people, remittances from these people who are working, suffering, totaled almost $6 billion. So it is the responsibility of this government, without just calling them Rataviruo for political purposes, to do something about the problem that they are faced with.
In the meantime, the number of persons admitted to the National Hospital in Colombo for treatment of various accidents on the dawn of the new year has increased in comparison with last year. The director of the accident ward, Dr. Kapila Vikramanayaka, however, noted that there has been a decline in the number of violent incidents and incidents related to the consumption of alcohol.
උත්සව සමයේදී ගිනිකෙලි හා හදිසි අනතුරු පිළිබඳව සොයා බලන්න නිවුස් ෆස්ට් කණ්ඩායම අපි ජාතික රෝහලේ හදිසි අනතුරු අංශයේ 72 වාට්ටුවට ආවා.
233 patients visited the outpatients department of the hospital yesterday for various causes. This is a 4% increase in patients' numbers year on year. The number of in-house patients increased to 123 this year in comparison with 106 last year. While 45 persons were admitted to the hospital with injuries sustained in road accidents, there has also been a 22% increase in household accidents. It is notable that the number of hospitalizations due to incidents of violence reduced by 60%, while alcohol-related incidents reduced to 64% year on year. Only 2 people were admitted to the National Hospital in Colombo for injuries sustained in firework-related incidents. This 23-year-old youth was injured in a firework-related accident. I went to light a firecracker at about 8:30 p.m. but I made a mistake. I appeal to other people to be cautious when lighting fireworks. I must remind people that there will be a lot of traffic on the roads in the coming days. There will also be an increase in the use of fireworks. It is important for people to be cautious of accidents related to New Year festivities.
Prime Minister D.M. Jayaratne visited the chief prelates of the Askiri and Malwatu chapters yesterday to receive blessings for the Sinhala and Tamil New Year.
Prime Minister D.M. Jayaratne, who received blessings from the chief prelate of the Askiria chapter, Most Venerable Udugama Sri Buddharakkhita Thero, also held a discussion regarding the upcoming Vesak festival. Thereafter, Prime Minister Jayaratne visited the Malwatu Vihare to receive blessings from the chief prelate of the Malwatu chapter, Most Venerable Tibotuave Sri Sumangala Thero. The Prime Minister then visited the Madikina Vidyasagara Pirivena to receive blessings from the chief prelate of the Ramanya Nikaya, Most Venerable Napani Pemasiri Thero.
And up next is a newspaper cartoon of the day. Still to come on the news tonight. Venezuelans vote in a decisive presidential election which will determine if Chavista policies will continue. Details on the News First International desk. Two people have been stabbed to death in Panamura, Amilipitia. The police media spokesperson's office said the killing took place at around 8 o'clock last night when an argument turned violent.
The conflict had broken out between a group of family members. The victims have been identified as 23-year-old W.G. Saman Kumara, a resident of Jayavikumgama, Panamura, and 27-year-old father of one Prasanna Sirivardhana. The police media spokesperson said a suspect has been arrested in connection with the incident. Meanwhile, 3 people were injured in a shooting that took place at about 7:15 last night in Gangasiripura Tissamarama. The police said that a father, son and daughter trio were injured in the incident. The police said that their neighbor, who was angered when a firework lit by them landed in his garden, had proceeded to shoot them. The trio who were critically injured in the incident were admitted to the Hambantara hospital and the daughter has since been transferred to the Karapite teaching hospital. The police have arrested the suspect neighbor and have seized the firearm used in the shooting.